Why do you think fans they're so in love with being scared? What do you think it is about this whole horror experience that people really love going to experience?
When you're afraid, you feel alive. I think that's part of it.
It's completely immersive. It's like the roller coaster of film.
To know that this is part of the Stephen King world, what do you think it is about his writing that really kind of captures the imagination of people?
My favorite, when I was younger, I read a lot of Stephen King, and the thing that I liked the most about it, and perhaps that it coincides with why I wanted to become an actor, is that a lot of the fear was psychological, and a lot of the monsters were you. So, what would you do if you thought you'd never see your family again? What would you be willing to trade? What would you do to be loved if you've never been loved? All these what would you do? I liked that. So I like the idea that the greatest monster we ever have to fear is what could be lurking inside of us.
When you have to talk about the horror genre in general, how does he fit into the echelon of where he is?
The king is the king. And he's still the reigning king.
Yeah.
Did he come on set when you guys were there? What was that like to meet him?
Not when I was there. Were you there when he was there?
No, I didn't meet him either, but he was on set a lot of the time and very supportive. And I think he may even have a little Easter egg moment in the film itself.
I don't know if we're allowed to say that.
Comes out
Whoopsie! Spoiler!
What do you think it is about fear that people enjoy? What is your kind of fear? Like if somebody's got to scare Lady Chastain, what do you think? It's
so easy. All I have to do is be in a room, like looking at my phone or whatever, and my husband just walks up to me and I'm like, ah! It's always not knowing that someone's walked into the room.
Right.
Or like waking up in the morning and you look over and they're just staring, you're like, oh yeah. I'm a jumpy person.
Yeah, my wife, she scares me a lot because I'm a jumpy person
That's
too.
Amazing.
And particularly when we were shooting this movie, when I would come home from a long day on set, she would be hiding in a cupboard or something. She would jump out
That's
and
amazing.
freak me out. She said, I'm keeping your edge on the movie.
I've never heard of a film cast because you guys have resemblances to the younger cast, which is awesome, And so I heard that they wrote letters to you. Is that true? Can you talk about what did you get from your younger peers?
Do you remember when you were in school? I don't know if you ever did this, where you wrote a letter to your older self. So write a letter to yourself in 10 years and they'll mail it to you or whatever. So Andy and Barbara had the cast write letters to their older selves. So when we arrived our first day, the rehearsal and the read-through, they handed us a letter and then they handed us a framed picture of themselves. As children. And, but it was great because it really was, you could see whether or not you were still very close to who the character was as a child or if there was a lot of trauma that had separated those two thoughts.
Are you both fans of the first film, obviously, but what was it like? Because there must be an element of being a kid on a crazy experience, because it felt like Goonies to me sometimes when you get. So did you have a similar kind of experience?
You had a Goonies moment.
I had many Goonies moments on this film. Particularly when we'd walk into the set pieces, the scale of them were huge and dynamic. They were the size of football fields. So in particular, the Pennywise lair was my big Goonie moment, and we spent maybe 3 weeks in that.
The water one too was terrible to be in, but when you first got there, it was beautiful to look at.
Beautiful to look at, and it sets the world for you as the actor. It was all there.
Last quick question: hard to get gunk out of your hair, drenched in blood? Is it hard to get sand out of your ears? Were you still discovering things like days later?
Weeks.
Yeah, the day after I did that tank scene in the blood, I was like, I got stuff in my eyes. What is it? And then I would pull out these it wasn't red. It was white, and I don't know. It was gross. It was gross.
Jess had a lot of gross moments. I had to come back and do an extra little scene months and months later, and when I got my old costume back, I put my hands in the pockets and it was full of that sand everywhere.
Oh my God.
And for days after, that was in my ears, up my nose, in my lungs. I really suffered from my heart.
Hallo? Kleiner! Hallo? Bitte! 25 Jahre habe ich von euch geträumt. Hab ich mich nach euch gesehnt. Hab ich euch vermisst.
Wir müssen es erledigen. Endgültig.
Ich habe uns alle sterben sehen. Es frisst uns von innen auf, bis wir keine Chance mehr haben.
Du hast gelogen. Und ich bin tot. Du hast gelogen. Und ich bin tot.